Good afternoon. This is Dr. Sumit Rangaji from our mechanical department. Today we are going to discuss about the introduction to operational research. So first we go to see the outline of the operational research, that is history, meaning and definition, scope, characteristics, phases, linear programming, formulation of linear programming problem, examples of linear programming problems, limitations, and finally go for conclusions. So if we talk about the history, the operational research has been existed as a science since 1930s. But as a formal discipline, operational research originated by the efforts of the military planner during the World War II. As during the World War II, the United Kingdom Army was facing a lot of difficulties to fight against their enemies. So they just kept a meeting of a scientist to have a discussion on the equipments, that how in less equipments we need to win the war. So something they have discussed about the meetings and all those things. They finally won the war against the enemies. So the analytical study of the military problems was undertaken to provide scientific basis for decisions to improve military operations. So in the decade of after World War II, the techniques began to apply more widely in problems of business, industries, and societies. Since the time, it has expanded into a field widely used in industries ranging from petrochemical to airlines, finances, logistics, and government. So India has begun to use the operational research in the year of 1949. It was the first unit of operational research in India was established at Hyderabad, and it was named as a regional research laboratory. Okay. This is what the history we talk about the operational research. So definition, we come for the definition of operational research. That is, operational research is an analytical method of problem solving and decision making that is useful in management of organization. Okay, or you can also say optimization of objective function by either maximization of profit or minimization of cost with considering resource as constraints. This is nothing but it is totally an analytical method which is used to solve the problems, and which is used to have a decision makings on the particular meetings. Okay, in the management of any organization. So if we talk about the meaning, there are two words: operational and research. Operation is nothing but we need to convert theoretically into a practical thing. That is, we are solving the problems in a practical way, and research is something which is being made improvement which is made in a particular product. That is the operational research. So now if we talk about the scope of the operational research, the first is finance, budgeting, and investment. In finance, we talk about the cash flow analysis where the cash has to be flow and where the cash has not to be flow. So in the budgeting, there is a claim procedure, that is how much the budget has to be claimed for the manufacturing of any product. Investment, there is a trade policy in this, that how the customers has to attract towards the product that has been introduced in the company. Second is marketing. In marketing, we see the number of production of the products, and we also see the competitive action in the surroundings. And we need to have a skilled labor for this to make a advertisement of the product in respect with cost and time. Purchasing, we talk about purchasing any product. If we are purchasing, we need to select the proper product, and we need to look at the surroundings and which product are being sold most. That is the purchasing here. In the production management, we talk about the physical distribution of the product. We talk about the maintenance policies. We also talk about the facilities planning, where the product has to be kept in a particular place, in a particular temperature. That is the production management here. And we also talk about the person management here. That is, we need to have a recruitment policies, that we need to hire the persons of a skilled labor who are very well experienced in all the matter. And also we have a particular age and particular persons. We should look after on the particular age also. So next is the research and development. It is also, or the operation research also utilizes in the area of research and development. It is also used in military operations. It is also used in any defense laboratories. Okay. So next, if we talk about the characteristics of operational research, first comes interdisciplinary team approach. That is, in interdisciplinary team, everybody has to be a skilled in their own particular way. That is, they should be a skilled person in economics. There should be a skilled person in mathematics. There should also be a skilled person in any other material experience holder. That is the interdisciplinary team approach. Second is a complete system orientation. In this, we are going to review all the products which is being produced in a company before selling it in the market. That is complete system orientation. Third is a methodological approach. Operation research is used for solve the scientific problems. That is the methodological approach. And fourth comes the objective approach. So if we talk about the objective approach, the operational research utilizes to have a best or optimal solutions, taking into the consideration of goal of the organization. That is, finally, we need to have a very best optimal solutions for the problems of operational research. So these are the four characteristics of the operational research we have gone through. So if we talk about the phases of OR, the first is pre-modeling phase. That is, in this what we do, we need to identify the problem, and we need to see what are the constraints or what are the objective functions that has been given in the question, and we need to mention it in the answer. Second is a modeling phase. That is, in a modeling phase, we need to see the problem and we need to convert those problems or convert those variables into a mathematical model, and we need to set an equation. Example, I can say 2x plus 3y is equal to c. This is just an example I'm showing about. If anything which is being used in the machines in a form of time, then we can formulate that in a mathematical model and we can set that an equation. Okay, and also finally we have to see the data collections on that. What are the data has been given in the question? Then we need to go further for the problem solving. Okay. Next is implementation phase. Third is, in this we need to give the solution. We need to implement the problem where we have seen all the variables, where we have also seen all the constraints, and we have seen the objective functions, and now we have also written the equations of that. Now we need to implement these in a final solution, that is a solution interpretation, and we need to validate all the models which has been written in the question. Okay, now we need to monitor and also control, and we need to finally implement those phases into an answer. Okay. Next is linear programming. So it's a very important topic. The word linear means the relationship which can be represented by a straight line. Okay. The word programming is concerned with the optimal allocation of limited sources, allocation of particular material to the particular person. That is the optimal allocation of limited sources. So if we talk about the linear definition, linear programming definition, LP is a mathematical modeling technique useful for the allocation of limited sources such as material, machine, time, etc. to several competing activities. Okay, this is nothing but it's a process, or it's the mathematical modeling which is used to set the particular material to the particular person. Okay. So next we talk about the formulation of linear programming problem. In this formulation of linear programming problems, we have 4 steps. First is there must be a well-defined objective function, say profit, cost, or any quantities produced in the company, which is to be either maximized or minimized. Maximization in the form of profit, minimization in the form of cost, and which can be expressed in a linear inequalities as decision variables. So this is what the first step says. If we talk about the second step, there must be a constraints which should be capable of being expressed as linear. Constraints means any machine which is working for 3 hours or any machine which is working for 2 hours. That is the constraints which is being expressed as linear. So third is there must be an alternative course of action. Now if we talk about the alternative course of action, I can give an example for this. 2 machines are there and there are thousands of products. The problem is how much of the product has to be allocated to the which machine. So this is the main thing in the alternative course of action. So there will be a confusion. That is the reason we need to have an alternative course of action for this. Step 4 is decision variable should be interrelated and non-negative. Yeah, obviously, because in operational research, all the variables should be positive, because non-negative or negative variables will be considered as an illogical in the operational research, because it is noted that non-negative variables are or non-negative variables will give a real life solutions for the operational research problems. So this is the formation of LPP. We see the example of formation of LPP which is being shown here. That is, first we see a company manufactures and sells two types of machines, say component C1 and 2. It has 3 lathe machine and 2 milling machine. Okay, so each lathe machine and milling machine works for 40 hours per week. Every component of type C1 requires 3 hours of turning operation and 1 hour of milling operation. Every component of C2 requires 2 hours of turning operation and 2 hours of milling operation. Component C1 earns a net profit of 50 rupees. The type of C2 earns net profit of 40 rupees. Okay, so find what they are asking you to find the number of components C1 and C2 to be produced per week so as to earn the maximum overall net profit. So this is what the question they're asking. Now we need to allocate the particular material to in the particular place. So here what they're saying, we see this, there are 2 machines, that is a lathe machine and milling machine. Okay, so in that we have 3 lathe machines and 2 milling machines. So both the lathe machine and milling machines work for 40 hours per week. Okay, works for 40 hours per week. So every component of type C1 requires 3 hours of turning operation, that is 3 hours of turning operation in the type C1. We are talking about the component of type C1, and 1 hour of milling operation. Okay, this is for C1, that is 1 hour of milling operation in type component C1. Every component of C2 requires 2 hours of turning operation. In a component of C2, they are telling it requires 2 hours of turning operation. So, and 2 hours of also milling operation. In C2 component, it's a 2 hours of turning operation and 2 hours of milling operations. Components of C1 earns a net profit of 50 rupees. That type of C2 earns net profit of 40 rupees. So this is the main thing they have given. That is, C1 earns a net profit of 50 rupees and that type of C2 earns a net profit of 40 rupees, right? So what they're asking you to find the number of components C1 and C2 to be produced per week so as to earn the maximum overall net profit. So you see, we assume let the number of components of type C1 to be produced per week is equal to X1. Okay, let the number of components of type C1 to be produced per week is equal to X1. So next is the number of components of type C2 to be produced per week is X2. Let us assume that. Okay, let us assume that this. Okay, so next is objective function, that is a maximum type, because already they have mentioned in a question the maximum is of 50 rupees and 40 rupees, as we have seen here, 50 rupees and 40 rupees. So the net profit of X1 is equal to 40. Okay, net profit, that is the number of components of type C1 to be produced per week is equal to 40. Okay, and next is the number of components of type C2 to be produced per week is equal to 40. As let us assume this is the maximum function which has been given in the question. So therefore the maximized Z is equal to 50 into X1 plus 40 into X2. This is what the objective function we have written in the equation form. Okay, that is 50 into the number of components of type C1 to be produced per week plus 40 rupees into the number of components produced, number of component of type C2 to be produced per week, that is 40 into X2. Okay, so this is the objective function. We have completed this. So now if we talk about the constraints, this is what we have discussed in a phases of over before in last slides. So if we talk about the constraints for turning operation, you can see here constraints we have written the objective functions. Okay, in the question for turning constraints we are talking about now. For turning operation in lathe, work is of 40 hours per week to each lathe, then 3 lathe machines is of total 120 hours. That is, you can see here the question has been given that each lathe machine and milling machine works for 40 hours per week, that is 40 hours per week. But here we have 3 lathe machines, correct? We have 3 lathe machines in the question. So what happens here? If the one lathe machine is working for 40 hours per week, then there are 3 lathe machines, so 3 into 40, total of 120 hours. That is nothing but 120 is a maximum. It can't be go above the 120 hour, right? 120 is total maximum. So here we can see that is C1 plus C2. What we need to right now, the constraint has to go that Every component of type C1 requires 3 hours of turning operation. That is 3 into x1, 3 hours of turning operation, right? Plus, you can see in C2 requires 2 hours of turning operation. In C2, it is a 2 hours of turning operation. So plus 2x2, which will be lesser or equal to 120 hours, right? Okay, which will be equal to 120 hours, which will be equal to or lesser than 120 hours, because 120 is a maximum. They have said there in a question that 40 hours per week. So we have a 3 lathe machines, obviously 3 lathe machines into 3 into 4, 40, sorry, that is 120 hours. We have an equation for constraints, right? So next is for milling operation. For milling operation in a milling, 40 hours per week. Here also same things goes on to each milling. Then 2 milling into total of 80 hours, because you can see in the question 2 milling machines, right? So 1 milling machine is working for 40 hours per week. So obviously they have mentioned 2 milling machines. We go for, okay, total 80 hours per week, right? So here you can see this now. C1 requires 3 hours of turning operation and 1 hour of milling operation, right? In a C1 we see x1, it's 1 hour of milling operation, plus we see C2 requires 2 hours of milling operations here, right? So there's 2 hours of milling operation. So now you see this. So 2x2 and lesser than equal to 80 hours. It's a minimum. It has been given in the question. 80 is a maximum. Yeah, that's the reason we see x1 plus 2x2 lesser than or equal to 80 hours. Right. So this is the another constraint where x1 and x2 are always greater than or equal to 0, because this is a problem solving. We know how much the problem has to be, how much the problem will be going long. Okay, so that is the reason x1 and x2 will be always greater than or equal to 0. So hence now we can see the allocation of the problem of the firm can be finally put in the form. See here, I have written here, find x1 and x2 such that the profit of z is equal to 50 x1 plus 40 x2 is maximum. Okay, maximum, because they have mentioned in the question. Okay, subject to the conditions 3 x1 plus 2 x2, right, lesser than or equal to 120. Next is x1 plus 2 x2 lesser than or equal to 80, where x1 and x2 are greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so this is the example of a formation of linear programming problem. Okay, so we have seen this. So I hope you got this. Okay, so next, if we talk about the types of methods in a linear programming problem, the first comes the graphical method. In a graphical method, it is used to solve the problem by finding the highest and lowest point of the intersection between the objective function as a linear feasible region in a graph. This is very important, as a linear feasible in the graph. Can I just show you an example over here? So this is an x1, this is x2, this is, we are taking as a finite scale basic unit. Okay, just keep 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so you can see here, suppose we got the answer plus 3 and 2 in x2 and x1 is equal to, we got 3, x2 is equal to, we got 2, then we need to point out the 2 at the x2 and we need to point out 3 at x1, then joining these points. Okay, joining these points, fine. So this is the graphical method of the linear programming problem, and then we need to shade the linear feasible region in a graph. So this is the linear feasible region of the graph that is being closed in the 4 boundaries. That is the graphical method. Okay, so next is the simplest method, in that it is an iterative procedure. It is an iterative procedure carried out systematically to determine the optimal solution from the set of feasible solutions. So in this, we see the steps. The first is the right-handed side of the each constraint inequalities should be non-negative, as we have discussed before. That in operational research, the right-handed side will be always non-negative. Negative variables will be illogical in operational research. Okay. So next is next point. In case of any linear programming problem has a negative resource value, then it should be converted into positive by multiplying both sides by constraints inequalities by -1. Suppose x1 plus 2x2 plus x3 greater than or equal to minus 6. Then there is a minus 6 over here. To convert this into positive, we need to multiply by minus 1. Okay, so equation becomes minus x1 plus minus 2x2 minus x3 is equal to 6. So this is what we need to do. Okay, this is what we need to do in a simplex method. Okay, so here all the decision variables in linear programming problem should be non-negative, right? So if we talk about the limitations in operational research, the first is lack of qualitative factors, because in operational research we are seeing only a quantity of the problem solving, but we are not going on the qualitative factors. And there is a limited factor consideration, because we are not going to see all the factors in operational research. A particular factor is concerned to a particular model, so we are going for only limited factor consideration. Third is special categories of the problems, because particular model, example I can take you, objective function is there, we need to write the equation for particular objective function only. If we have a constraints in a problem, we need to write an equation for particular constraints only. So there is no any other thing. So the lack of the limitation in operation research is specific categories of problems. We have a particular categories for solving the problems. Fourth is resistance of employees. That is, employees in an operation research are they have been stick to only old programmings, because operation research is a new modern. The day by day it will be developed, but employees in a company, they are stick to only old things, and they are not likely to change to the new operation research methods. Fifth is distance between the user and analyst. Sixth is time and money cost. So these are the limitations of the operation research. So if it come up with the conclusion of the operation research, it is used to solve the complex problems of business through mathematical analysis. The effectiveness of this method is observed through improved business operations and management styles. So it should also support in improved competitiveness of the organization through strategic business decisions. Okay. And I hope you got the introduction to operation research, and I hope you got the meaning of operation research in this video. Thank you. Thanks a lot for watching this.